Shit moms won't say.
Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. Round of applause.
They won't say it.
They won't say it. None of that shit.
Actually, the
Very
show's over.
that's
They're
because they won't say anything. The
not
show
gonna
was
say
so
anything.
quick. Nobody said a word. Um, first, good start, guys. Good start. Very excited to be hosting the mom panel, taking over things a little bit for regular full-time host Jess Ferretti. Is me, almost mom as of 3 days ago, though. I found out I'm not a mom. Thank you, pregnancy test. And also Anna McCasland. Anna, what are your mom qualifications?
I don't have a motherly bone in my body. I met Jess and Katie's gorgeous child, and everyone in the room was shocked at the fact that I could not physically interact with the baby. But I have big dad energy, so I think I'm more grandpa energy, so I think I kind of round it out. So I'll be able to bring a little bit of stupid energy to this panel today.
I love to hear it. So obviously Jess picked two very qualified individuals to host this panel. And speaking of panel, Anna, let's talk about who's even here today.
I can't believe it. Everybody, please welcome your main host, typically, when it's not us doing an incredible job, Jess Ader-Ferretti. Everybody, round of applause.
Hello.
And following suit off of that, the beautiful, as her Shit Moms Won't Say episode detailed, real life Disney princess and fantastic new mother, Katie Ferretti. Hey, Katie, round of applause.
I'm applauding. And next, next on our mom panel, we have Elaine Jemmott. Everybody clap, 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 clap.
Ooh.
Elaine is a working mother of four and world-renowned Real Housewife and Bravo super fan, and also the proprietor of a very hot husband. And she's here to spill the mommy tea.
Yes.
She's looking over her shoulder like,
Following suit, I did not think it could be peaceful to take a yoga class off of Belmore Avenue, but Kelly Mitchell at her studio Buddha Barn makes it so possible. Take a class with her. She's fabulous, and she's also a fantastic mother. So welcome, Kelly. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Christine.
And also, Grand Duchess of Long Island Theater and fantastic funny lady. If you've never seen her swing on a lamp on stage, do it. Watch her swing on a chandelier. It's very funny. I'd do it over and over again if I could. I wish that, am I allowed to be you when I grow up? I guess is my first question, but we'll welcome you first and foremost, Emily Nadler.
Yeah. And last but certainly, is that everybody? Yeah. Last but certainly not least, we have Katie Cassin. Katie is a wonderful photographer, currently working on a photo project using real couples on Long Island to recreate movie scenes. Very cool. On top of being funny and absolutely giving no shits about what you think, she's a kick-ass mama one, ready to answer some hard-hitting questions.
Yes, awesome. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. It's so much fun to have everybody take the time. I do want to preface and say we took a lot of time and attention to make sure these questions were sensitive and really attuned to the motherhood experience and as well thought out as possible for sure.
There's a lot that goes into motherhood, and it's a very it's an intimate experience in terms of you're giving your life energy to another person. You're passing on who you are to another generation. So we've curated these questions to be extremely sensitive, thoughtful, and as emotional as we can make it. That being said, first question, did you shit on the table while giving birth?
And I would like to hear everybody's answer. So Katie Ferretti.
I did not shit on the table. I asked if I was shitting on the table. The answer was no. And I said, no, really. And they said, no, really, no. But I peed everywhere. on everybody, everything, the whole time.
Fantastic. I feel like that's a good answer. I feel strongly about that. Emily Nadler?
Emily Nadler did not shit on the table.
Of course not.
Emily Nadler had a C-section,
Okay.
but was not let out of the hospital for 5 days because I didn't shit on the table, on the couch. I didn't shit anywhere. So they wouldn't let me in the hospital for 5 days.
So quite the opposite of shitting on the table.
Quite the opposite, yes.
Honestly, the opposite of my everyday life. I wish it were different over here in the forest, but it's just not.
Kelly Mitchell, thoughts on
Second child, I did shit on
Yeah.
the table, but I
Yes.
shit water. It was like not. It was water poop. I smelled something, and it didn't even smell like poop because it was so watery. It just smelled like something else that I couldn't recognize. And I said, "What does that smell?" And they said, "Oh, honey, you're shitting all over the table." But it was water. I was shitting water. And so they had to put like wee-wee pads under me, and I was crying because I was so embarrassed and mortified. And I continued to shit water for 2 days. And they were giving me an IV after I gave birth. And finally, I screamed at the nurse because I was like, I am shitting water. You're giving me an IV. Stop with the IV. And then I was okay. So yes, I did. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's good math.
Yeah.
Is it?
Katie C.
I did not, but I know why. Because I went into labor in the middle of the night, 3 weeks early. So we got to the hospital, and both myself and my husband, when they said, no, you're in labor, we proceeded to shit for the next hour out of pure fear. And then I had nothing left by the time I was in active labor. So I think that had that not happened, I certainly would have shit on the table.
Perfect.
And Elaine.
I had all C-sections for all of my children. So I don't know. I have no idea what was going on down there because everything was numb and there was a sheet up and I wasn't paying attention. I just laid there. So who knows? I don't know. I guess I should ask my husband. I don't know if I want to ask him that. Do I want to know?
Some things are better, like, what the questions, what happens after you die? Did I shit on the table? Like, there's some things we're not meant to know.
Life's great mysteries.
I think that covers that. Christine, I've never shit on a table.
Again, like Elaine, to my knowledge, I've never shit on a table. However, I live in constant fear I will. Jess, I know you didn't deliver a baby, but I guess...
No, I did. I physically delivered the baby. Perhaps you've misunderstood what the day looked like.
So then I guess to that question, while you were delivering the baby, did you shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Out of excitement, or is it just like nervousness, or... Okay, fair enough.
A little rosebud. All right. Now onto a little bit of a, little classier question, I suppose. Christine, take it away.
So, a thought that often crosses my mind in relation to my mother is like, how many times a day, a month, a week does she think, oh, wow, my kid's so annoying? When was the last time you were like thoroughly annoyed by something maybe insignificant that your child's done, one of your children has done? And if your your child is a gift from the grace of God, which that could certainly be the case, I'm like I still want to know, again, for my own selfish purposes. We'll throw it to Jess first.
I think she's too young.
Sure.
She's too young for me to find her annoying yet. Oh, my wife says no. My wife says she's annoying. Wow. All right. Well, we'll chat after this. I don't find her annoying yet. I'm also not with her all day. So by the time I'm with her, like at nighttime, I'm just happy to see her.
Katie, can you elaborate a little? Katie AF. Katie as fuck. Can you elaborate a little bit? You made a different face.
I don't think she's specifically annoying or trying to be annoying, but we're doing a lot of throwing things off of the high chair tray right now. And like, I know she's just learning, so there's really no reason to feel like this is out of spite. But when you're like, okay, like, here's your cup, and like, you're pointing to the tray when she's done drinking, and like, you could just put it down, and she just goes, and it's like the 100th time during a meal, or like the fork, like, she's like, done with that. Like, it just, she does it all the time. And like, I know she's not doing it to just like be like annoying, but I'm annoyed by it, you know?
Wow. It's like marriage counseling. I had no idea we'd get there tonight. It's good.
You owe me $250. Yeah, I don't take insurance.
One does.
Mental health.
Not for mental health, anyway.
I mean, who does these days? Katie, Katie C, have you ever had like a moment where you're just like, oh, get this person out of here?
I am not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. And my son is, to the point where he thinks that 5 a.m. is a good time to be up for the day, for weeks at a time. And I'm not about that life. I'd prefer to sleep a bit longer. I feel like I've done enough. I just don't want to do that. So luckily, my husband is an angel and more of a morning person, and often will take my son downstairs and watch TV with him. But I can't help it. Like, when I wake up and I'm awake, I'm like, I am ready to be a mom today. But like, if he wakes up before I'm ready to be a mom, I'm just easily annoyed. You know what I mean?
Fair. Emily, any thoughts?
Well, my son is older. I think I probably have the oldest child here. He'll be 25 in January.
I would love to hear that because I'm 25.
But what annoys, so he makes his dentist appointments and he's always forgetting when the dentist appointments are. So he cancels them, and I know, no, he doesn't cancel them. He doesn't show up. And I know the dentist, so I feel so badly. So I guess it annoys me when he misses his dentist appointments and doesn't reschedule them because he's only on my insurance for another year. And I'm like, don't let anything happen to your teeth. So
This was the answer I was looking for, because I also do this. So now I know what my mom is thinking. Kelly, how about you? Any thoughts on when your child was most annoying recently?
My kids are grown too. So, but I do remember, and I probably need therapy for it, and I don't know the answer as to why, but I must have had some kind of childhood trauma with tuna fish, because when my kids were younger, they're all great kids. Really not annoying kids. But when they would ask me to make them tuna fish, like tuna fish salad, I would get really agitated and angry, and I would do it, but I was pissed. They knew it, and go figure. Yeah, so it's a joke now that they're older. Like, remember when Mom would act like a psycho when we'd ask to make tuna fish? Something happened to me regarding tuna fish in my life, because it just pissed me off. Just the whole process of having to open the can, and then the kitchen would smell like tuna fish, and I just annoyed me. So yeah, other than that, now, current time, it's a lot of blending, a lot of smoothies. So maybe with like COVID and all being together and just hearing the blender like 17 times a day, that's annoying.
That's real talk. The blender is something that I have no children, and it's like I can hear a blender from down the street.
It's the most annoying sound. Yeah, it's hard.
And Elaine, let us know, when's the time that your kid was just like, get him out of here?
I have 4 kids, so I'm being annoyed on the daily. And I have such an age range of like little, like 7, and then I have like kids going off to college. So there's like this age range of annoyance based from like either when I'm talking to them, they're doing TikTok moves. So like I'm talking to them and I'm like, so did you do what I asked you to do and empty the dishwasher? And they're like, what? What do you mean, Mom? So that's like annoying. And then also is when I check with all of them, like, are you hungry? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? No, I'm good. I don't want leftovers. Ew, gross. And then as soon as I start heating up said leftovers, it's like they wander into the kitchen and they're like, what is that delicious smell? And I'm like, it's the leftovers. Remember that I all asked you if you wanted and you didn't want. So then after I end up giving it to them, then there's nothing left for mommy. It's like they're never hungry until I'm ready to sit down and eat. And then everyone is like around me, like like dogs. It's like I have all these dogs and they're like, what are you eating? That looks delicious. And I'm like, it's the leftovers in the Tupperware that you wouldn't touch for 3 days.
No begging.
Go on, I have like 10 more. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess that's the ticket. It's like God, I love these things that I've created. See, that's why I have no motherhood. I'm like things, pieces. But
Very
it's
warm.
I can only imagine that I've just absolutely destroyed my mother. She walked into my room, saw this pink little Yoshi I have, and goes, "You gonna grow up?" I just left.
So taking a bit of a more reflective turn, I guess we've really kind of berated you with these first two. Anna, what's our next question here?
So yeah, with this, as we go now, we're gonna ask, we're not gonna ask all of you these questions. You can just chime in as you feel fit, but we'll be calling out people. This one is a little more deeper in terms of what is a personality trait that you have that you were kind of worried about bringing into motherhood, that you're kind of still actively combating, but it's made you understand yourself a little more. And I guess let's start with Kelly.
Oh, geez.
Sorry.
Whoa. Wait. Okay, hold on. What am I afraid of that I kind of put on my kids, like my stuff? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like you were just like, okay, I'm gonna be a mom. I'm a little worried about this aspect of my personality, and like what's something you do to like kind of combat that, like to this day?
So I was always, like an OCD. I don't like to throw around the term OCD because I don't know if I have real OCD, but I think I have OCD tendencies. I think we talked about this, Jess, on our thing. So I was always afraid that maybe that would spill out to them, which it has. But then I realized that, a lot of great things I did stem from my OCD, being so OCD about something that it could take a good turn if there's passion involved and love involved and creativity involved. So I always told them, because we all have it, and I tell them all the time, use it. You use it for a good thing because it can be a superpower. So yeah, I had it, kind of gave it to them. Also, I was a very scared person, very scared. I did a lot of work to not be scared, and I never wanted them to be scared people, adults, or grow up scared. And I worked really hard at that, my own inner work, so I wouldn't rub off on them. So thank God they don't have that. But they've done great things with their OCD too, so we're all good right now.
Love it. Emily, I'm going to throw it to you.
Well, I can't really think of something that I was worried about before I had Jacob, but I don't know if this is answering the question, but now when I'm having, a conversation with him, because he's almost 25 and he's coming and going and I don't get a whole lot of time with him. But he still lives in the house. So sometimes I find myself, before I have just a regular old conversation with him that I can really enjoy him, I'll do the checklist. Oh, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do that? So I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to just say, I don't have to check in with him and ask him, about all these chores or whatever it was. I just want to enjoy him for him. And it's hard because I'm thinking it and then I have to edit myself and say, nope, don't say that. Just have a good conversation. So.
No, I love that. It's like the growing pains of just like you're never, even when your kids get older, you're still like a mom, but it's like getting to a point where it's like, okay, I'm a mom, but I want to like talk to my child like so they feel like a person. So it's just interesting to hear the different kind of growing pains as you get older.
Yeah.
And I guess for the last one, we'll throw it to Katie AF.
I think mine, it hasn't gone away, that's for sure. I'm a very fearful person. I'm scared of everything. I'm always scared. And it was, what a shock to me that when you have a baby, as a parent, you're just not just like the bravest person. Because when I was a kid, my parents weren't scared. They weren't scared of scary movies. They weren't scared of ghosts. They weren't scared of the monsters that lived in my closet. Like, they weren't scared of anything. So I thought, when you have a kid, you stop being scared of things. And like, that is not the case. I'm still scared of everything. And now on top of that, I'm scared of making my kids scared of everything. So like, I'm scared to go into the city. I like get anxiety the second like I get out of Penn Station. But like, am I going to deny her the like beautiful gift of like going to see a Broadway show? I'm terrified of this pandemic, but am I going to deny her like getting to see her family and her friends and people that love her? Like, where do you draw the line there? And I'm scared of driving, but like, she has to go places, so I can't scared. Like, I have to just get in the car with her, So I'm always scared, and I don't want her to inherit that fear of things. I don't want her to be scared of things because like, well, mom's scared, so that means I should be scared. So that would be mine.
It does make you brave, though, in a way. It's like, I don't want to be scared, so you begin to become brave.
No, that's true. It's a different kind of, putting on a brave face, I guess.
But
You're
it's
brave.
Hmm?
You're brave. You're
Aw.
brave, Mama.
Thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
so nice.
Just
Chris,
don't sell yourself short. You're a brave mama.
Thank you.
I feel like anyone that is any kind, just like, is to have such a baby is so brave. So brave.
Childbirth alone.
I can barely,
Me.
I don't know, pee and without being like, I don't know what's going to happen next.
That's a great non sequitur to our next question, Anna.
Yeah, why don't you take it away, Christine?
So the next question is, how often did you have to pee while pregnant? I'm going to throw this to Katie C first.
I'm the person to throw it to.
Yes.
I do have a story involving lots of pee.
Amazing.
I know this story, and I need you to tell the full thing. I know I'm sitting back tonight, but you got to tell the whole thing. It's super important.
Okay, so when I was pregnant, I was about 5 months pregnant, and it was Christmas, and we went to visit my family who lives in Florida, and we decided for Christmas Eve we were going to watch all home movies. And so we're like filtering through them. I'm sitting on the floor helping filter through them, and my youngest sister was complaining about how she didn't want to watch anything pre-her, like it had to be from her on. And so I'm like, all right, so this doesn't, whatever. And then I was like, okay, this one says a soccer game and Katie Sanji. What's a Sanji? And I'm looking at, like, driving myself crazy. My husband, after like 10 minutes, he goes, do you mean song? And I was like, oh my God. I laughed so hard, I peed all over the floor. As I'm peeing, my mom is screaming at me, like, Catherine, you're peeing on my floor. She's getting the stuff she uses to wipe up the dog's pee. It's chaos. And I refused to move because I knew once I moved, more would fall out. Like, I just needed to stay where I was safely. And eventually got up and went to go change, and apparently my husband cleaned up my pee. Oh, because my mom wanted me to do it, but it was all vinegar, and the smell of vinegar made me puke while I was pregnant, so I couldn't use the vinegar solution. So my husband's cleaning it up and looks at my younger sisters. He's like, this is the bar for a man you marry. If the guy will clean up your pee, you may marry them. And I've never lived it down.
I'm going to subscribe to that bar. If my husband's not willing to clean up my pee off the floor, that's such a beautiful sentiment. I love that. Absolutely. And I guess also a follow-up question off of that pee story. How do you wipe while pregnant?
I mean,
like physically?
Like physically, how does that happen?
Oh.
Like around the belly?
Yeah, you go like sometimes you just got to go all the way from the back.
What if your arm is too, let's just say one of us in this chat has a really short arm and can't quite reach. What do you do? Do you have to get like a stick?
I don't know.
Hire someone.
I guess.
Don't they have those things with, I don't know.
like a claw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll table that particular, but I will pass it to Elaine. Elaine, peeing while pregnant, were you a frequent peer? I guess that's a silly question, but was it like more, did you feel it was, I mean, dependent upon the child, one you peed more than the other?
Well, first of all, I'm a frequent peer regardless if I'm pregnant or not. I'm one of those people that like, I have to walk by a restroom like this because if I even make eye contact with the sign that says ladies room, I'm like, gotta go. Like, I'm the person that when I'm like, okay, when we're going somewhere, I'm like, so we're really out the door now. Like, we're really going. And when everyone's in the car, I'm like, I'll lock up because I need to pee one last time before I get in the car. And it's not like, you know, this is me forever. Like, I'm just that person. So when I was pregnant, that was magnified like a gazillion times. And you just, you know, like a really, like for women out there who maybe have never been pregnant or like who are planning on getting pregnant one day, like they make super huge pads and like just always wear those. I wore a pad my whole pregnancy because when you laugh, you pee, you cough, you pee, you burp, you pee, you're just always peeing. And I had twins. So you can't even imagine like one would kick me, the other one would do this. So like, don't even worry about it. Like, just wear those diaper things and go with it. Like,
Jess, we gotta get a shirt.
When you're a pregnant woman, you could get away with anything. Like everyone's like, oh, she's pregnant. It's okay. Like you peed on the floor, Katie, and no one cared, right?
No,
like people
cared.
just like, she's pregnant. Like she's pregnant.
So everybody cared. My mom cared so much.
You know what I mean? Like, but if you weren't pregnant and you peed on the floor, we'd be like, Katie needs some help, maybe. Like, but like, because you were pregnant, it was like, yeah, that was like kind of like not okay, but she's pregnant, you know?
I have to add something here because I've just had a memory flood back that I blocked.
Literally flood.
Until you just was talking about this, Elaine. So I had a really, really horrific morning sickness for the first like 15 weeks that I was pregnant. And I didn't know this was a thing, that they don't like tell you about this with morning sickness. Like I would be heaving into a toilet bowl and simultaneously the pressure of heaving was making me pee. So I'd have to straddle a towel every morning and evening when I was vomiting into the toilet bowl. Like to add insult to injury, you're already throwing up and like you feel like crap. Now you're peeing your pants daily. Like, every time you vomit, it's horrible.
The big pads, Katie, the big pads. The big pads they make. Wear them all the time in your pregnancy. Lisa Rinna does a commercial for them, I think.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Oh my God. Someone should choke Lisa Rinna out with a big pad, for Christ's sake. It's like, or something.
Okay, that made me laugh.
Good question, ladies. Good. Well played. Well played.
Choke her out with a big pad. Get her out of here.
Broken clock and all that, right? Every now and then I got it.
All right. I guess the next question. It's hard to top your best, but let's go to the next question. I'm actually going to throw this to Jess and Katie as a couple because you guys are a queer couple, and I'm always interested. I'm just interested in pregnancy in terms of a not like straight binary. What is the weirdest thing someone has said to you while pregnant is the question, but I'm interested in how it relate. Like, what's the weirdest thing someone said to you both?
So I think there's a lot, but like, and Katie, I see in your face you have something in your head, and I don't think it's what I have in my head. So I'll say what I have in my head. We went to a wedding in Virginia. Never again. We went to a wedding in Virginia, and somebody a family member, kind of questioned like which one of us was pregnant. And now, like, not for nothing, I stay in pretty good shape. So my initial response was like, fuck you. Like, it's obviously not me. But then, like, we did continue to get that. Like, oh, so Katie's are you carrying? Which one of you's carrying? And I was like, look down, assholes. Like, which one of you is carrying? Like, the pregnant one. But so, like, that kind of like, well, you're both capable of carrying, so why aren't you both carrying at the same time? Or why wouldn't you carry next? And why aren't you carrying now? And are you currently carrying? And how are you both carrying? And, you know, carrying 400 times a day.
I guess I wouldn't think of that. Are you carrying, sir? A bunch of chicken nuggets? Get out of here.
Like, I'm hungry. Is that what you're asking? But no, I'm not pregnant.
I'm carrying this burden of this conversation.
That's right. I'm carrying all of your baggage and your bullshit.
Katie, you said you might have a different story.
Oh, I actually forgot about that story too.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Pregnancy out, I guess. I was still sick at that point. We had just said that we were having a baby, so like I wasn't really showing yet, and like I don't know, neither one of us really looked pregnant at that time. But anyway,
I never looked pregnant through your whole pregnancy. I never looked pregnant.
I know that, but I'm saying at the time neither of us did. Because, okay. But yeah, no, the carrying thing was no, my head went right to, you know, next time you can use a surrogate. But like meaning like Jess was like, I don't want to carry, and somebody was like, oh well, you can use a surrogate, and I was like, I'm like fine with. Let's get through this one before we worry about, you know, what's coming up.
People are amazing.
Yeah, but people think they have free reign and do whatever they want if you're pregnant. I don't know. It wasn't a good story, but somebody else probably has a better one.
Well, I actually have a question off of that. We'll throw it to Emily Nadler first. What is the oddest thing that you cried about during pregnancy, if you can recall? Like something that, like, oh, I can't believe I cried about this.
Well, what did I cry about? I cried about throwing up every day, Katie. I can sympathize with you. That I cried about. Oh God, I'm no fun. I just can't think of anything else.
No, I've cried, you know, every time I throw up.
I was sick. Honestly, I had some level of morning sickness, which was 24/7 morning sickness, like for almost 8 months, like practically the whole time. So that made me cry. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So I cried about that. I don't remember crying about anything else. I loved being pregnant.
Did you?
Even though I was so sick, I just thought it was amazing. And I did. I loved the cute little outfits. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. I was
no one watches.
I was singing in a wedding band, pregnant the whole time. And, you know, people were just so nice. What's that? Jess, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you are freezing.
But anyway, I just had a good time.
So don't worry. But I think we all understood that you cried during pregnancy, you loved being pregnant, and now you're frozen.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't care.
I'm still frozen. I'm sorry.
Look at your face. You're totally frozen.
It's a good shot. While Emily's internet, you know, reconnects, we'll pass it to Katie C. Anything that stuck out specifically that you may have felt in hindsight silly about crying regarding?
One Sunday night, my husband and I were getting ready for bed, and I just started crying, and my husband's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And I was like, you're going to work tomorrow, and I'm gonna miss you. No. Much. And he's like, I have to go to work. And I just couldn't control myself. I was devastated. I don't know.
More partner goals.
I also once could not decide which candy I wanted to eat first, and that made me sad, so I cried.
Okay, that is actually like me right now.
I couldn't decide, so I cried, and then I ate both of them. So.
Anna, weirdest time that you've cried about something, not pregnant?
Cried today watching a cartoon from Japan, having a good time, feeling mentally stable.
Perfect. Take us to our next question.
So, I'm going to throw this one to Kelly Mitchell. What happened with your placenta? Death silence.
Wait, I don't know. What happened? It came out. Doesn't it come out?
Some people use it to make like tinctures and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I saved it and I still use it for my smoothies. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
my kids are 20. My oldest is 25, so I don't think that was like really a thing then. Maybe it was, but yeah, no. I did save my first daughter's umbilical cord. It's not placenta, but I did save her umbilical cord, and I still have it because how could I throw it out? It's in the attic. Why, I don't know, but now I have it, so I can't throw it out. And then I tried to save my middle girl's, it fell off, and I lost it. We never found it. But so I know that's not related. I'm trying to give you something. Placenta, I don't know.
No, that's okay. I guess it's a new.
Okay, wait, I have a question. How many people that have had babies feel like you are delivering a second baby? Did you guys feel that? Okay, good. I'm not alone. Yeah, you feel it. Yeah. You feel that.
The biggest sense of relief. Like, I gave birth and I still felt so much pressure. And then when the placenta came out, like that's the first time I felt like relief.
Yeah, it's like giving birth to another like little baby. Like just.
I think the placenta is the worst part. So like, I obviously didn't give birth, right? But like, I had a fucking front row seat, and like. The kid came out, it was terrific, and then I really got to see the placenta, and it is disgusting. Like, anybody who's, like, encapsulating it, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna booty bump it for extra health, like, that's disgusting. Like, it's not for me. It's not for me. I can't. I know, Katie, you have some other thoughts, perhaps, on what we'll do with the placenta next time. I don't want to see it.
Katie, I would love to hear what your plans are, because I'm genuinely interested. I followed a girl on Instagram for a period of time. It became an unfollow situation, but she made vodka with her placenta, and I thought that was just the most badass thing I've ever heard in my life.
I don't like, okay, so like I'm like birth obsessed, so I obviously think placentas are cool. I also think I can understand why somebody would be like, that's gross, because it is a little bit gross. But the first one, I was like, my doctor was like, oh, are you doing anything with the placenta? And I was like, no, obviously not. And she was like, oh, good, which I thought was a little rude, but also, okay. But I did learn that ingesting can help with postpartum depression, and there are very, very many talented placenta encapsulators. So it comes back, you give it to them, and it comes back to you in pill form, and you're not like eating it as a smoothie. And I think that sounds like really elitist. Like, I had my placenta encapsulated, but like if I could through any version of PPD on the next baby, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, literally, Jess was like, oh, you're gonna booty bump your, if somebody was like, yeah, put your placenta in your butthole, it'll help with your postpartum depression, like, I'd do it.
Same.
Oh no, I'm all for you doing it. I just never want to see a placenta again. That's all. That's all. I think whatever you want to do with it is terrific, and if it helps with PPD, God bless. The actual visual of seeing the placenta was something that lives in me.
I didn't even I wish I looked at it, but I was.
You don't. You didn't. It's horrible.
I'm more curious as to what the qualifications are to become a placenta encapsulator. Like, what degree do you need to get that done?
A whole lot of gumption.
You just need like hopes and dreams, I think, right? Like a goal.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Jess, I actually have a question for you. I have a scenario, rather.
Okay.
So, you're in a woods, giant bear comes for Lily. How are you defending Lily? I would like to know tactics, strategy, and what your perceived success rate would be.
My perceived success rate, it's not good, guys. It's not a good success rate. So I'm gonna change the question because it is still my show. So I'm gonna go more of a murderer in my house, right? Because a bear,
Perfect.
I'm sort of helpless to a bear, and I think the only thing I know about like bear self-defense is pretend you're sleeping or pretend you're dead. So I'd be like, Lily, my wife says no, but okay. So anyway, that's what I would do is Lily and I would take a nap. So terrible question, terrible answer. So I have this like fantasy in my head. Maybe fantasy's the wrong one. Like if someone were to break into my house, I have a strategy, a defense, and a perceived success rate. So I can share that. So here's how it goes. For anyone who's been in my home and for anyone who hasn't, it doesn't really matter. Our staircase comes up the stairs. And now I'm like putting on the, yeah, Katie, you're right, Kate. I won't say how to get to our bedroom just all over the internet. Anyway, if you walk up the stairs to my house, you can get to our room. I have it in my head because we have a gate at the bottom of the stairs and a gate at the top of the stairs that I will hear whoever it is. I have a big flashlight in my room that I am ready, willing, and able to slap the person down the stairs. Blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. My strategy from there is to run into my daughter's room with Katie at my side, dialing 911 all the time, and basically waiting it out.
So perceived success is 100 at that point.
100%, because I have now knocked this motherfucker on his ass down the stairs, and I think he's dead.
And you know what? No resting in peace, only chaos.
Just in chaos.
Christine, you mind if I can ask someone on our panel this question? I would like to ask Elaine this question. Yes. Because you have 4 kids, and I want to know how you're getting them involved in the fight. Like, who are you tag teaming in? Like, get in here. Like, the murderer's in the house or the robber. You're like, we gotta make a formation.
I think that if a robber came in and all of us came out of our bedrooms and was like, ah, that anybody would run out because there would just be kids coming from everywhere, that they would be like, I'm out of here. I don't really think we would have to do a lot. I think we would just open the door and my son with his headphones, kind of like how you look, Christine, when he plays his Minecraft and his war games, he'd come out with those things and he'd put on the sound effects like Kevin did in Home Alone, right? With the gun shooting, and then the robber would think that there was like really machine guns, but it was really his video game. And I think that, like, you know, we would be fine. We would take him down. For sure.
Yeah, you got good. That's the thing is, like, the more there are, the more you can be like, you get the bat, you get the fork.
Right.
We're gonna fence him.
My husband collects records. We would take the records and like fly them like frisbees into the robber. Like
that would hit right here. Done.
Yes.
Mortality rate is 100 at that point.
Yep. We survived. That robber would have no chance in this house.
I love it. So, Christine, I think we can boogie along.
Yeah, of course. Anna, take it away. Next question.
This is going to be, I'll just ask one person this question because this is more of like a serious question. Might get a little long. Emily, how's your internet doing? Can I ask you this question?
I think it's okay now, so we'll see.
Let's see how it goes. What's your relationship with Poopy? Also, Vom.
With Poopy and what?
Vomit.
Vomit?
Have you become desensitized? Like, is it just like...
Yeah. Mom-wise, like when it comes to your kids, if it's somebody else's, it's just freaking disgusting. But when it's your own kids, I mean, he's almost 25. I don't see his shit anymore. But I remember I was in like Walgreens once, and he was like a year and a half or something Can you still hear me? It says my internet connection is
You're plugging along,
I'll just
Nadler.
keep talking. We were in Walgreens, and anyway, he had this little T-shirt on. It's going okay? Should I stop talking?
You're
Keep
good.
going. Anyway, long story short, he shit in Walgreens. It exploded out of his diaper, down my leg because it was summer, down his leg. It was everywhere in freaking Walgreens. After that, I can do anything.
That answers that question for me, Christine. I think we should roll right along.
I would agree. That was encompassing.
That was it.
Katie C, I'm curious. So my big concern, I mean, I love my parents. They're amazing. They're so supportive and wonderful. I'm so nervous they're going to try to parent my child. Has there ever been a moment when your parents have parented your child while also parenting you?
First of all, yes, and thank God. In the beginning, because I'm only almost a year and a half into parenthood. The first, like the newborn stage, I was like, Mom, like what do I do? Like, so I think that because I was so fearful in the beginning, you know, I go to my mom for everything. Like if I'm in the store and I'm like, what card do I buy? Like I call my mom. That's what I do. That's how I live my life. I'm not ashamed of it. If I don't know what to do, I call my mom. So, but my mom, she's been on the show. She's wonderful. And she's very self-aware to a point that's like super admirable. And she will be like, oh, say to my son, oh, don't put that in your mouth. I'm so sorry. That is not my place. Mom, what would you like to do? Like, you know what I mean? She'll jump in just out of instinct, or like, Katie, you can't have him wear that or do that. And then she'll be like, no, I'm sorry. Like, it's your choice. So like, I think it's hard. Like, I don't think it's on purpose. And I think that if you have a good relationship with your parents and clear boundaries, it really doesn't matter very much. Because sometimes I'd be like, I totally respect that, but I'm going to do it this way. And my mom's like, okay, cool. And it's pretty easy. I have no complaints about it.
I love that. That's fantastic. I mean, and again, I think it's about like what Emily was saying about seeing your child grow into a person as opposed to, you know, not simply your child, but what you've previously known as just your child and that evolution.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, when I was pregnant, everyone was like, you know, my family was excited, but my dad didn't seem too excited. And at one point I said to him, I'm like, what's the deal? Are you okay? Like, are you upset that I'm pregnant? And he's like, no, it's just a lot that my baby's having a baby. Like, that's a lot for me. And I'm worried about you, and I want to make sure you're healthy and you're okay because you're my baby. So I want to make sure. And I was like, oh my God, that must be such a weird milestone in life to be like, this tiny person that I created and raised is now making another tiny person, and that sounds emotionally overwhelming. So
I love that though. That's a beautiful answer. I love that. That was not where I thought this conversation was going, but I'm happy it ended up there. No, it's perfect. Anna, would you want to skip to the next question? You're muted, my sweet friend.
Guess what? Back in action. I don't know. I'm going to ask Miss Callie Mitchell this, if that's okay. Have you ever thought the phrase, I'm a cool mom? And if so, what spurred that thought?
That I am a cool mom?
Yeah.
I do think I'm a cool mom, though. I do. I mean, again, my kids are older, but Jess, we talked about this, that it's the creativity thing, I think, that made me a cool mom. You know, I did a lot of really creative, you know, for selfish reasons, because I love being creative. So we were always doing really cool things, crafty, crazy things. And also I think I was a cool mom because I really didn't give a shit if like they spilled paint on the furniture or you know, I love that whole creative thing, or like swimming in mud, and you know, so that's probably maybe if they could answer, they'd probably say that.
I love that. I'm going to also throw this to Elaine. Have you ever had the thought in your mind, I'm a cool mom? And like, what spurred that thought?
I've had the thought in my mind but I'm not at the point where Kelly is, where her kids are older. So to my kids, I am so not cool. And this is such a, it's such a shocker to me when we're in the car and I'll like start singing along to a song or something. And they're like, Mom, that's so cringy. Like, stop it. Or like, you know, yeah, that's apparently the word that they use for me. And, or like I'll start imitating them, you know, doing their TikTok dances like I just did. Like if they saw me do that before, they would be like, Mom, oh my God. Like that's so not cool. Farah, my 7-year-old, she's like my last hope. She still thinks, she's not around, she still thinks I'm cool, but the other ones, the teenagers are just like, you know what I mean? They're just like, Mom, like I'll be like on Instagram and they'll be like, what are you doing? Like you're doing another live? Like, oh, that's like, oh my God. And I'm just like, what? Like, like I'm just not cool to them. There comes this point, I don't know what age, I could think like middle school, where like you think you're like the apple of their eye and you're just like so cool. Like how Kelly was saying, like I let them go in the rain and dance in an umbrella and then get all wet and da-da-da. And then all of a sudden they're just like, don't get out of the car at drop off, you know, like stay in the car, don't kiss me, you know, like, so then I roll down the window and I'm like, bye, I love you.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, you gotta. You gotta lean into it. I'm not a mother. I've got grandpa energy. I'm taking my kids to the dump, you know. I've got a dump card and I'm taking them there and we're looking for combs. Like that's me. But I do have a little sister who's significantly younger than me. Like I babysat her when she was a newborn. I changed her diapers all the time. I obviously don't have parental responsibility to her, but there is small, like I helped raise this little thing. We fight like sisters, but she's very embarrassed of me with the TikTok.
Yeah.
She can't, because I know the dance. I can do the dances, but sometimes she'll bring us in to do them. And that's how you it's got to be a partner dance. And that's when you're like, I'm cool again. But really, they're making fun of you. But at least you can have the mental.
The older ones. The teenagers, they don't ask me. The 7-year-old will. But like the teenagers, like they're not at that point yet. I can't wait to get to that point that Kelly is at, where my kids are in their 20s and they're just like, oh, that was so great that you did those things when we were younger. But right now they're just like they've all come down here at one point and said to my husband, what is she doing? Like, what is she doing? Like,
I'd like to go in the kitchen and shake my butt. And my little sister, she's 14. She'll look at me and go, I am going to be sick.
Yeah.
She's like, it's anything to do with me is embarrassing. So I get it in a different light, but I get it that we are cool people. Okay. We can do the TikTok dances.
Anna, I will do a TikTok with you any day. Okay.
Elaine, when we meet, I've got the perfect one. It's simple. We'll put it online and we'll be cyberbullied by 12-year-olds. It'll be perfect.
It'll be super cringy. It will be the cringiest, but we won't care.
We'll be the cringe queens. It won't matter.
Oh, I like that.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you're all cool moms. I know Anna and I were talking about this a little earlier today about how much we admire all of the women here on the panel today, which kind of brings us to our last question of the night. I guess this will be, I mean, a quick maybe 1 or 2 sentences from each lady here, but what is one thing that you think all great moms have in common? So one trait or quality or, you know, aspects that all mothers that you admire have in common. We'll start with Katie AF.
Sure. I think there are a lot of different things that make people a good mom, especially like pertaining to their individual child. But I think something that like unites motherhood as an idea is just being a mom's mom, like understanding when your kids annoy you and you can like share that with another mom who's like, yeah, I get it. And they're not like, oh my gosh, she said her kid annoys her. Or like, you know, being able to like have that person or other mom that you can go to and say, like, I feel like I've had the same day 6 days in a row, and that person understands, and just offering that like non-judgmental space, I think that like makes you a mom's mom. And I think that's really important. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a shift there, and I feel like I remember a friend of ours whose oldest is around 4 now, and I remember her being very honest and saying, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I think that's like a new thing to motherhood, and I think that's okay. Like, it's cool to admit that, and it's cool to like have people who are like, yeah, no, me neither, but like this will work for me, so maybe it'll work for you. Like, just being a mom's mom's cool.
Love that.
That was long.
No, I love that sense of camaraderie. I think that's amazing. And I think, I'm going to toot Jess right now, but I think that's a large part of why, people vibe with her podcast and Shit Moms Won't Say in general, because it's a lot about that camaraderie and building it. So
It's a web series.
What did I say?
A podcast.
Oh, well, it's partially. All right. It's a web. Anyway, Jess, you want to answer?
That is why people vibe with me.
I guess I'll go fuck myself. Jess, go ahead.
Me? You said Jess to say something? Okay. So I think it's a couple of things, and I that's obviously what sort of inspired this show, is that camaraderie between moms. That I think I was under a very incorrect assumption that when you become a mom, other moms sort of like, tip their hat to you and like, hey, we're all moms, and like that doesn't happen, and that really sucks that doesn't happen. And I think that the thing that I look for in like other moms and things that I admire in other moms are our senses of humor. Motherhood is really fucking weird. It's really weird. And on any given day, you could have poop up to your elbow. You could be hysterical crying. You could get a million hugs and kisses, or your kid could not look at you. Like, it's super weird. And I think it's sense of humor. And I think it's, sort of like, Katie said, like being honest about it. But twofold honesty. So being honest about having those weird moments, but also being honest with your kids. So obviously, like our kid, she's 10 months old until Friday. She's only 10 months old. By the time this airs, she'll be 11 months old. Fine. She's 11 months old. In any capacity that I can, I want to be honest with her. So instead of saying like, and we kind of talked about this on like Katie's episode, we never say to her like, don't cry. It's a very natural thing to say, like, oh, don't cry. It's meant to be an emotional support, but you're basically telling someone like, don't have that emotion. I'd rather say, hey, it's, you seem upset. That's okay. And obviously at 11 months, she's like, blah, 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 like she doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But like, I think it's really important to be honest to yourself, to other moms, to your friends, and to your kid.
Love that. Thanks, Jess.
Sure thing, pal.
Miss Nadler?
A mom's mom. Well, what makes a mom's mom? Nobody knows their kid as well as the mom does. All the slightest little details, because as they get older, you talk to teachers who will act like they know your kid. It's like, no, you don't really get it. You'll talk to coaches and they'll act like they know your kid, and they know them to a certain extent, but only you are the mom that you really, really know them inside and out, from the tip of their toes to the tops of their heads. So I think that's what makes moms.
Sweet Anna.
Am I frozen again?
No, you're all set, Emily. Anna, I think you were gonna take it away.
Yeah. Let's thank Emily. Thank you for Gorgina answer. Everybody, it's nice to hear so many different perspectives, and just to hear kind of there is no one thing that makes all moms great, but it's interesting to see like how everything kind of connects to one another, if that makes any sense. Callie, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I think a mom's mom is the same thing as being a girl's girl, same thing as being, you know, a good person, you know. It's like, just be a good person all around. I mean, if you're going to be a mom's mom, then you're probably going to be a really good girlfriend, or just a really good person, especially with moms in terms of the support system and stuff. It's like, that's super important. But also, Jess, I agree, a sense of humor, like, that's huge. Just to not take things too seriously, because we can take things way too seriously all day, and then that just becomes just a day of stress when you really break it down. I mean, I guess our perspective is different now. Now it's like nothing is a big deal, right? It's like, but yeah, just like, it's not that big of a deal if it's not life shattering. And yeah, I think it's really important to be a mom's mom, by being kind and being nice and being supportive to other moms, if that's what you mean. Mom to mom, whatever you got to give, do that, you know? Because like you said, Jess, it's weird. It's like sometimes you don't feel that. So all the more reason for anyone that's aware of it to do it as much as possible.
Thank you, Kelly. Katie C, I'm going to throw it to you.
Can you repeat the question?
Of course. It's what's one thing, or maybe like a few things, that all great moms have in common, or moms have in common?
Well, first, I think being a mom's mom is the same thing as if like someone needs a tampon. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't like them or you agree with them or you don't agree with them. Like, if someone needs a tampon, you're going to give them a tampon if you have one. So like, if you're a mom and you may not agree with the way someone parents, like, it doesn't matter. They're still a mom just like you are, and you respect how they raise their child. In terms of being a good mom, I think you have to be strong-willed, and I think you have to be compassionate. I mean, I think that, especially now that my son's a toddler, we run into a lot of frustration with, he knows what he wants, but he doesn't know how to quite express it yet. And as a parent, that's also frustrating, because my son's upset and I can't fix it and I can't help you. But, you know, if we all like take a step back and think about it, and like, I try to always put myself in his shoes. I think that's where compassion comes in, and he must be more frustrated than I am, because he wants something or needs something that he can't get from somebody. And I also think strong-willed in the sense that I know my kid better than anybody else. I know what my kid needs. I have no qualms about it. I have no qualms about telling somebody what my kid needs or what to do or not to do with my kid. I don't give a shit. He is my number one priority in my life, no matter what, and everyone else can suck it. Like, I don't care.
Yes, absolutely. Suck it. Sorry, I don't know why my brain got like just fixated on it.
It was super eloquent, so I don't blame you.
No, I love it, where it's just like, that's, yeah, if anyone tries to get involved, it's like, you're cordially invited. Here's a wax sealed envelope to absolutely suck it. So yep. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Elaine, we would love to hear your answer for our final question of what's one thing all great moms have in common, or what makes a mom a good mom's mom.
These were all great answers, by the way. So I'll be really quick. So I think that a mom's mom is, just as Katie said, it's like non-judgmental. You never know what another mom is going through, what is happening in their life. You know, I'm in a good relationship now, but there was a time I was a single mom and it sucked. And I was, you know, would go to miss meetings at school, and my kids wouldn't have maybe like their homework, and maybe, you know, things were happening. And I appreciate the moms at that time who knew I was going through a hard time and who didn't judge me, and instead helped me out and said, hey, do your kids need a ride? Hey, like, you know, do you need help with this or that? You know, so I think a mom's mom is someone who's non-judgmental, who knows that every mom is going through something different in their life, and there is no such thing as a perfect mom. And then what's the other part of the question?
You got it. That was so beautiful. That was so gorgeous. That was the feeling of it takes a village is just, it does, and you don't have to call out something. You can just intrinsically feel everybody should be there for one another. It's just a part of human nature, but I think it's a very big part of Mother Nature. Come on. Anybody love that one? Okay.
It's like that saying, like when someone fixes your crown without telling you it's crooked, you know, like that's how I feel like moms should be for each other, you know, and that's how my mom, the very few women that I choose to call my mom friends, that's how we all are. You know, I know, oh, my friend's a nurse. She's working like 48 hours straight. I'm going to remind her that this is going on or that's going on, or see if her kids need a ride. Like, we're always there for each other. And that's how it should be. You know, I'm not going to judge her, and she doesn't thankfully judge me. So, and I'm done.
I think that's the one place where moms tend to falter, is that they're afraid to show kinks in their armor. Which is currently on my shoulder, is my armor where I have a kink. Right there. Yeah, I think also like moms should feel more invited to, I don't think moms who don't talk about their struggle think they're too good for it. I think they're too afraid of it, because they're afraid of what would make them a bad mom, because it's their whole life. Like, if you're a mom, it's all encompassing. And if you're bad at that, what do you have? You know what I mean? And it's not that way. You need to process things just the same as you did before you had kids. So you need to talk about it and get it out, and having those safe moms is like essential.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's amazing. Listen, that's what we call a home run way to end this panel.
Knocked it out of the park.
That's what we call it's out of the park. It hit a child. Oh no. The child has ice on its head. It's gonna feel good. That's a home run. Thank you guys all so much. Jess, thank you for having Christine and I as a host.
You're very welcome.
This
Thank
was
you
so
for
fun.
Doing it. I'm glad you guys came on.
Is there anything anyone wants to plug?
How about I do a big plug for everybody? How about
Let's do it.
A couple of people on here who do some really, really cool things, and everybody should check them out. They have all obviously been on Shit Moms Won't Say Before, but you have Katie Ferretti, who you can find. Katie, give us your Instagram handle. Katie is in training to become a doula. Where can they find you?
Full doula, Hands and Hearts Full Doula.
Hands and Hearts Full Doula. Miss Nadler, I don't even know what you could plug. Like, is it just like the crown jewel of Long Island? Like, where can people kiss your ring on Long Island? Like, how does that happen?
I'm currently playing my couch. Control.
How about this?
Appearing nightly.
When theater is a real thing again, if you do not come out to check out any performer on the line, you're a dick. Lee Mitchell, owner of the Buddha Barn. They are open. They are rocking and rolling. Please, please, please find them on Instagram. The Buddha Barn. They're amazing, even though I don't personally care about
I'm gonna recruit you.
We'll see. No, yes, fine, yes. Katie Cassin, I mean, truly, 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 probably the best photographer on Long Island. If you are not using her, you're a moron. Where can they find you, my love?
Just at Katie Cassin Photography on Instagram, katiecassinphotography.com.
Perfect. And of course, the queen of doTERRA, Miss Elaine Jemmott. I mean, you've gotten my whole family into essential oils. You know, I'm doused in peace right now. So, you know, where can they, you've just changed your Instagram handle. Otherwise I'd be like, it's Oil Invader Elaine and da-da-da, and that's how you find her. But now I'm like, I think it's Moon.
I had to change my Instagram handle because now I'm actually working also with Kelly. And I'm doing full moon circles and healing circles at Buddha Barn. Awesome. There's 4 spots left for the one on October 2nd. It's our full harvest moon, and I would love to have you girls. Anybody else? Just saying. We're going to do all kinds of cool stuff there. So it's Moon Honey. So it's moonhoney.elaine on Instagram.
Elaine. Very, very cool. And thank you everyone out there for tuning into Shit Moms Won't Say. We will be taking a very, very brief break after this episode, but I will be chatting throughout that break to let you know who we have coming up. Please be sure to follow us on all kinds of social media. Christine, Anna, you guys are the best. And also I should call out anytime that I say I have a younger and smarter friend who helps me with the show. It is in fact Miss Christine.
Anna McCasland, thank you so much. It's me.
Very welcome. You may notice that she is listed as my co-pilot at the end of shows, and it's because she's younger and smarter than me. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you so, so much for tuning in.